Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. I'm Kris, joined by my brothers, Adam.
Hello.
And Giddy Eric.
Hello.
And we are back in the room once more to give our take on the shit we like. And in this week's episode, we got a few things to talk about, including the Uncharted movie trailer, which has dropped, the GTA Remastered Trilogy trailer, which has dropped, and we're also going to be catching up because I was missing for a week, and the guys recorded an awesome episode on DC Fandom. I'm going to give my quick review of that because I got to listen to it as a audience member. But anyway, we would love you guys to touch base with us throughout this episode at any point on any of the things that we bring up and the stuff that you find interesting or any little things you want to point out to us. So if you're listening to us on YouTube, you can touch base with us down in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed us, please do give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and click that notification bell so you know when future content comes out. If you listen to us on audio platforms, you can also touch base with us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take. Marshall Mathers, what's happening? And we'd love to hear from you. And please hit follow on all those audio things as well. Fucking hell, that rolled off the tongue, didn't it? Anyway, thanks for checking in. Goodbye. Episode over. No, I'm joking. The episode has only just begun. Let's catch up. I suppose to start, I'd love to say well done on the episode last week, guys. DC Fandom.
Thank you very much.
It was because I hear all of our episodes usually, whether it's editing back or whatever, right? But I always kind of know what's coming because I was there, you know. So this was the first time I was able to listen as just like an audience member. This is a fucking great podcast. Everyone should listen to this shit. It's great. It's really fucking. It was really entertaining. But also, yeah, maybe I'm a little bit biased, but no. But there was really interesting points brought up, and because it was all stuff that we had, like, it wasn't like based on a game or a movie that we would have talked about before. Mm-hmm. I had no idea where you were going to fall on it. So it was like totally brand new experience. And I was like, oh, there's some interesting takes there and some interesting shit being said. So I thought it was really cool. I did get to check out most of DC Fandom at points as well while I was away. You know, sometimes you're lying in the bed and you watch a couple of videos and that kind of thing, you know.
I spent the whole day with you guys. I'm watching DC Fandom.
yeah. I guess if I was like, this holiday is over, I'm watching DC Fandom now. So it was cool. It was really cool.
What did you think of the fandom then? Or what you saw from it, at least.
What I saw from it, I to be honest, I had a lot of similar takes to you guys, which is
that's unlike you. Jesus, there's something in my eye here.
Yeah, that's
Kris
just
is bullshit.
Hey! No, I'll tell you what it was. Most of it was fine. It was okay. Like it was like, let's have a huge event, but we don't really have anything to show you. So it was a lot of it. Yeah. To be honest, so I was like, it was kind of pointless in a way. And let's be honest, everyone was just there to see the Batman, and it was like, just drop the Batman on its own because it's just fucking awesome.
As the biggest Batman fan among us, what did you think?
This is easily, I will say, I actually prefer last year's trailer to this trailer, just as a trailer, right?
Okay,
but this has consistently shown that wasn't just the best bits of the movie or something.
Yeah.
And that it's going to flop after that, though. Consistently, the tone of the film, the look of the film, the characters, this take on these characters. This is easily like the Batman movie I would have made. So to get this Fincher-esque serial killer kind of Batman gritty world. And I think I had a bit of a realization, I think, as I was watching it, which is like, I think I fully get why Matt Reeves picked Robert Pattinson now. And I think it's because the story he's telling here is like this underdog Batman who's fucking angry and brutal and trying to prove himself and not really taken seriously maybe yet. Yeah. And I think he knew, he was like, not only is Robert Pattinson really talented, And he is. I've seen The Lighthouse. I've seen a couple of other bits. He is really talented, right? So it's like, I know he can do it, but what I know as well is what the general audience perception of him is.
Yeah.
And that he's going to have to fucking prove himself and like basically prove everyone, all the naysayers wrong and like really earn the role.
Yeah.
And in that sense, it's like, I don't know, some of the real bleeds into the fantasy there then, because you have an actor who's like, I have to actually like own this and become Batman in the eyes of everyone who doesn't believe I can do it.
I think it's a really brave move. Like it reminds you a bit about like, well, a little bit with Ben Affleck becoming the Batman, but
yeah,
more Daniel Craig becoming Bond.
Right. Yeah.
It's like obviously the producers and the director and everything saw something there that everyone else didn't, and they knew how to extract that from the actor. Unlike, you know, with other films, when you see a casting and you kind of go, oh yeah, I like that actor, right? And it's like, well, is that actually good credentials for?
Right.
Is it a good match? Because
Right.
I find with like
we can get onto that with one of the films that we're going
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Right, we will. Well, not yet. Not yet.
I was teasing everyone.
right?
Yeah. No, not yet. No. Let's stay on this for a moment.
It's Batman. Chris wants to talk about Batman.
Just for a moment. I don't want to like go on and on about it, but
I mean, the makeup department for fucking Colin Farrell
holy shit.
and his
He's
accent,
great,
his performance, like so far, it's just like
that
wow.
little clip is just like, that's good. That it's a different Penguin. It's not quite the Penguin. Like he's almost more Falcone kind of.
Yeah, he's total mob boss.
Yeah, but he just looks great.
I think Falcone is in it. I can't remember the actor who's playing him, but Falcone is in it. As well.
I think he might be as well. And
Yeah,
I think it's the guy
from Transformers, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
John
agent-
Turturro.
John
Yeah.
Turturro, that's him.
Yeah.
That's him. Yeah,
That's
he's
great.
Falcone, and I that to me strikes me as a slightly younger Falcone than we're used to, but that's not necessarily a bad thing
Do you think
either.
that's the right choice? I would have made him more of a Maroni kind of character. I don't know why like as
Yeah, I know.
there's something about Falcone that's just like, is it Falcone
Free-
or Falcone?
It depends on
Right.
who's pronouncing the written
Yeah,
word. I don't know.
But anyway, I think actually I would probably call it Falcone. But you know, like the guy from Gotham, it's like the one thing Gotham got right.
Yeah, he's the old. Well,
He's so like him, you know.
you look at the artwork or the from the Long Halloween in particular, which I suppose the most
he's
famous
big,
version
he's
of
a
him.
big guy.
But you're like, that's 100% the Godfather.
Yes, it is.
It's it's Marlon Brando, like
Yeah,
so.
it is,
That's how you do. I suppose an accurate Falcone is that kind of. So I suppose John Turturro. It's a different, but we haven't seen it. I don't think he's playing a huge role in this anyway. So
I just hope he doesn't get like offed, you know, like the mob getting killed off or something like that. Because it's one thing that I always find within the Batman films is that the mob has some kind of presence a little bit in the early stages of the films. Like if this is going to be a series, and then they kind of get pushed aside because the real villains come in. Whereas I love in the animated series the way the mob is a constant and Batman even goes to them to interrogate them because he knows they know something, right?
Yeah.
So even if he's taken on like, I don't know, like Mr. Freeze or something like that, he will go interrogate Maroni to see like, where's he getting his ice cubes from, like all this kind of shit.
Yeah. No, I love it. Like, there's a great episode in the animated series where I can't remember the name of the mobster, but he's just like walking through a park and Batman just emerges from the darkness and scares the shit out of him. Like, and yeah, he always does. He like creeps up on he's like, it's like he keeps the mobsters around to nearly collect information for him and then just shakes them up whenever he wants it.
Yeah, like he becomes like the homeless for Sherlock kind of.
Almost like that. It's fucking cool.
So I hope they get to stick around a bit because it is a presence that I think is missing. And a day to me, just that is Gotham, is those guys. Like they really run Gotham. And these kind of supervillains are almost outsiders nearly who have emerged. They're like a new threat. But the actual like heart of Gotham nearly, how it's run is by the mob. And I think they just need to be around.
Well, speaking of like the supervillains, one of the most exciting things about this whole project for me is this take on the Riddler, which is a take on the Riddler I suppose I've been crying out for ever since I saw Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah.
It's like it's sort of a logical modern cinematic take on that character is to do this Zodiac style serial killer, leaving the riddles behind and just being fucking creepy. I love it. Like I love it. I'm like, there's no point in trying to do another Jim Carrey, for example, because Jim Carrey did that campy kind of Frank Gorshin style Riddler so well for the style that they were doing, that comic booky, cartoony Riddler.
Yep.
He did it so well that, you know, there's even people when they voice act Riddler, they're still kind of imitating Jim Carrey. Like even here in the Arkham games, there's a very Jim Carrey-esque kind of inflections in the way that the actors delivering the lines. I was like, there's no point in doing that again because it's been done so well. But what about this other version of the Riddler that we've never seen? This kind of maniacal, like he could be real character.
Yeah. I don't know if we brought this up last week, but I think it's really interesting how like Batman himself in all these films is, well, he always looks like Batman, right? He's quite theatrical and he's got the costume and all this shit. Yeah. And the villains work better if they're more grounded and real, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because if you start to get like superhero kind of villain, for some reason that just takes you out of it. I just think that's really, really interesting, is that to make a realistic Batman, you need a incredibly realistic villain.
Yeah. Even if Batman himself can be the most outlandish thing in it. Like he can have all the gadgets, the car, is that the villain has to be like, yeah, you could, something like that could happen. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true.
It's odd.
I suppose it makes you like the hero more. Because the fact that people like that can exist and do exist makes you want someone like Batman more. So it makes you like Batman more.
Yeah.
Because
he has these, and also just every hero is defined by their villain. So the better the villain, the better the hero.
Yeah, I know, but it's just I think maybe it's, you know, in other comic book films, like even staying within DC realm, like with Wonder Woman, when Ares comes into it, like that to me is like less interesting now.
Yeah,
as opposed to just taking on the human condition, which is what I thought the film was about.
Yeah,
which it kind of is. They're like towing the line between, can we make a statement about the human condition, which is more interesting, but can we also have a big flashy fight at the end?
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like trying to toe the line of both.
It still baffles me that Jeff Johns is wanting to get rid of that fucking no man's land sequence, because it's just the best part of the movie.
It's unreal. I think
and it really defines all the great strengths of women just in that one segment. From the start of them entering the trench up to her crossing no man's land is like, yes, that's
her compassion and everything. Trish,
her compassion, her determination, and then her ferocity in the fighting. It's like that's all these great qualities that women have.
I think as well, one of the things that stood out to me about when I was watching the Batman trailer, and this could be a controversial take for other people, I don't know. I know the world is getting really caught up in these cinematic universes, and yes, they're great and they're fun or whatever. To this day, I think the two best superheroes are Batman and Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, they work their best in their own universes. Everything that's great about them gets taken away from them once they are put into the shared universe.
Yeah.
Which is something I was trying to say about Zack Snyder's Justice League, which I love, but Batman felt like a weak element to me. Because Batman works better alone. He just does. And I don't mean in terms of not having a team. I mean his universe.
Well, I actually think
so
even
much...
within his universe, he works better without Robin.
He does work better alone. He does. And similar. I feel so similar about Spider-Man. You know, the MCU version of Spider-Man feels so unlike Spider-Man to me because it's just like, there's Spider-Man in the Marvel universe, but it's like, but where's the Spider-Man universe?
Well, I think
we're missing the Spider-Man universe.
I know why it doesn't work really, is because I think Spider-Man and Batman are great characters, right? They're not just great, like they can do badass moves, right? It's not a character you choose in a fighting game. They have in them great personality and great story. And that's what makes them interesting.
And great responsibility.
The combat throughout is just like, that's the struggle they go through. But that's not what makes them interesting.
No.
But when they are put into it, like when Batman... Like, I always felt that way, even with like the Justice League cartoons or anything like that. I always felt like Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, they work together because they're like out of this world nearly, kind of in terms of their abilities. Batman always felt like really unusual to me. It's like, why would you put him in that team, and why would they ever want him? Right, we can make up every excuse under the sun. It's like, oh, he's the world's greatest detective. Like, so what? Superman can fly around the world and see through shit. Like, what can he not figure out? He always felt at odds. And then with Spider-Man, if he's put in with like the Avengers and things like that, you're only using him for his abilities, and that's not what makes him interesting.
No. Yeah. I agree wholeheartedly. So that's just me. A lot of people, the MCU version of Spider-Man is their favorite Spider-Man, and a lot of people really want the whole. Again, look at if they restore the Snyderverse, I'm cool with it. But I would like to see this other Batman universe. And also, this is it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want it to replace this because this is more exciting to me because it's. I don't know. It's deeper. It's darker. It's grittier. It's the shit I like. Fuck off. I don't have to tell anyone. Yeah. I just want my dark Batman movie.
It's great to see this come out because like everything is all like
great.
You know, with the shit that we've gone through. Generally, when this happens, the world looks for happier kind of crap to kind of get the world back in. Like everything's awesome and everything's cool and all that shit. So it's great to see this like really. Almost Tim Burton-esque Batman back, which is completely at odds with every other film that's coming out. Yeah, well, you see, this is going to do well, and then everything is going to want to beat it, and we're going to get grittier shit everywhere. For better or for worse, that's going to happen.
Sure.
But it's great that...
I don't know. It might change, at least it might change the format of trailers, because modern trailers now all seem to follow the same format.
Yes, thank you. I was thinking that too. The thing of tease the trailer before you watch the trailer with scenes that are in the trailer that you're watching. There's only 2 trailers in the last, I don't know, like even No Time to Die did that. It was fucking annoying. There's only 2 trailers in the last like 6 months that I've seen that have not done that. And they're the 2 most exciting movies to me at the moment. And that is The Batman and The Matrix.
Yeah, The Matrix was a great trailer.
They're just great trailers that are just showcasing the tone, the movie, but not giving too much away and not ending on a punchline or something stupid. Like,
fuck
just,
me.
Anyway,
that drives me soft.
What I was wondering is, like, from that trailer, the soundtrack to it, right? I think it sounds fucking amazing. It's almost Imperial. Was it like the Imperial music from Star Wars, nearly?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit like that, like so that when he's walking, it just sounds like really scary. And they're using the Nirvana song in it.
Mm-hmm.
Time and time again.
I'm wondering
they
if
keep using it.
Is the tune that I'm hearing that kind of almost Imperial March tune? Because is that just like an edit of that Nirvana song?
Yeah.
Just purely for the trailer, or is that going to be in the film?
I have a feeling because they've used it. If they used it once,
it's just for the
right.
trailer.
But they've used it. They actually used it the first time they showed Robert Pattinson, just in that red. Remember that, like?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
They used it in
reveal.
that. Yeah. They used it in the next teaser, and they used it in this trailer. I feel like they're using it in the movie, and it is a big orchestral kind of remix of something in the way. And I think that might speak to the soundtrack of the movie, that it's going to have kind of a grungy, emo, gothic.
Well, yeah.
Because that's the look of it.
Yeah.
That seems to be the overall vibe of it. And I'm all for it. I'm like, yeah, okay, fucking cool. The fact that you're using Nirvana as your kind of soundtrack says a lot about,
and not like
where you see the tone.
Pick out the most famous Nirvana song.
No,
either,
sure.
Right? It's very,
no.
Like, I love shit like that. I love it because, Tarantino does that, Snyder does that. It's like picking out songs that are like really appropriate as opposed to what's the top hit right now.
Yeah, that's the most popular
that would be
one,
probably my biggest, like, remember with like No Time to Die, the fact that they used Billie Eilish. Good song, good Bond song. I don't know necessarily if she was the right choice.
Sure.
And I feel like that's probably just due to a popularity vote, kind of nearly. As opposed to choosing what's the perfect artist to send off Bond in this way. But
wouldn't you have loved to have seen Florence and the Machine?
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah. I think the I think you're right with the Muse thing would have been good. Or
Sure.
or to some degree even Imagine Dragons before they became like weird. But Muse, yeah,
Muse are
Muse would have
good.
been a good one.
More like if you wanted to capture that Aha or Duran Duran kind of era of Bond style song, I think Muse could do something really cool like that.
It's just weird that like they have for James Bond, they have Chris Cornell, right? No Time to Die, fantastic, fucking fantastic intro to a Bond.
What'd you
That's
say?
not No
Oh,
Time
yeah.
to
Oh,
Die.
Sorry, the Casino Royale, right?
Yeah.
You go to Chris Cornell, right? You go that song. Then you go to Alicia Keys and Jack White, right? They're kind of more rock and they're kind of heavy.
they
It
are.
only makes more kind of sense, yeah, to go for like maybe Muse or something. And then now they went for Adele, and that was a fantastic choice. But then after Adele, they're like, here's Sam Smith, who kind of more or less is trying to imitate Adele. Like it's similar sound singing, and then Billie Eilish, kind of also very similar. It's very weird because it's almost like splitting the franchise in two because it's not blending, sort of.
I get you. I suppose the theme song should always fit the tone of the movie, though, and that's the biggest problem with both the Jack White and Alicia Keys song, which is awful. It's fucking awful. And the Sam Smith song, they don't actually fit the tone of the movie they're in. I think Skyfall does. I think No Time to Die does.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
You know, it does fit it.
Yeah.
I do agree that maybe it could have been a more impactful song, but
Right,
it does fit the overall tone. And You Know My Name fucking does. You know what I mean?
that really does, yeah.
So
Speaking of
that's
that,
why
I
those
got-
three
I got
stand
a-
out, I think.
Yeah. Well, my
Purchase
least favorite
yesterday.
is Sam Smith. Oh, look at
Oh, look at that!
Okay.
For our audio listeners, Adam just flexed a Kia. Chris can't speak.
Casino
Adam
Royale,
just flexed
4K.
Casino Royale.
I
4K.
also got in speaking.
Oh, Man of Steel.
4K.
Where'd you get it? Because I want
both
the
of them. Both of them in golden discs for €35 for the two of them.
class.
That's
And
amazing.
They
I
both
will-
come with the 4K and normal Blu-ray as well, so you're getting 4 discs.
Unreal.
Yeah,
I
very good.
will go down and get that because I have my weekends off now. Hey,
Woohoo! I suppose before
yay!
before moving on from the DC fandom, I was in agreement about Gotham Knights and I was in agreement about Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. We need to see the gameplay for that and Gotham Knights. Well, I was already excited for that.
Yeah, that's a better trailer, though, isn't it? It's a better showcase.
I didn't think so.
No?
Actually,
You
not
like the
really.
gameplay trailer?
Yeah, but I've seen little clips of the Court of Owls anyway. I've been kind of following that game, and they had little teasers. So to be honest, that was a prolonged version of something that was already. I already knew that the Court of Owls are going to be this kind of scary, sinister society. So they're kind of like Spectre in a way. But so I was already excited for it. To be honest, I wish it was a little longer. That's all. But my interest in that game hasn't like gone down or anything. I'm still excited to see more of it. And lastly, I'd like to say, in terms of the last episode, it was really, really nice to hear Eric talk so much because Eric, you tend not to talk that much.
No.
And it was really nice. So basically, I should go.
More often.
That sounded like such a sad laughter. Like you're laughing, but there's tears coming down.
You'll be in the shower later, just biting on a sponge.
Something in the way. Yeah. I was away on what I can only describe was very much an Uncharted adventure. There's a reason I say that. In clear waters and sea caves and on little islands. It was awesome. And it was fucking amazing. And the timing of it then was as coming back, they released the Uncharted trailer. And I was like, wow, I feel so Uncharted this week. And now there's an Uncharted trailer for the Uncharted movie, which we've spoken briefly about before on and off this podcast. But now we have an actual look. It's no more speculation about what the tone might be, what the story might be. It's the... Eric, we'll come to you first. Your thoughts on the Uncharted trailer?
Okay, so like you said, it has that little teaser of the trailer, and now here's the trailer, and it's like, well, why are you doing that? It's so stupid. And then it follows the same format nearly everything does. Here's a little fucking line to introduce the characters. here's some fucking like setting up the plot, dialogue, setting up plot, action sequences, comedy, more action sequences, comedy line, big dramatic fucking scene to end the trailer, date, punchline in whatever, right? So it's a Marvel trailer, like, is what it is. It's a Snake Eyes trailer. It's a fucking Venom trailer. It's all them trailers same. It's not Nathan Drake. The minute he talks, I'm like, there's Tom Holland. And then he looks, and then Mark Wahlberg talks. I go, there's Mark Wahlberg. None of these people are. He's not Victor Sullivan. He's not Nathan Drake. They're saying it's a prequel to the games. I'm like, that's nice. If it's a prequel, why didn't you just stick to what the fucking game said? Which is how he, like, because it shows in the game how he met Victor Sullivan.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you just stick to that? If you're going to be mentioning fucking Sam, why not have Sam in it? Because Sam had a good, close relationship with Victor Sullivan. So again, if you're doing a prequel, why not just have a younger Sam in it as well? That's no problem. And that's grand. Like, they have a new villain, they have a new thing. You got the Magellan thing. It's like, oh, okay, that's nice. We all learned about that in second year in school. But then you have the fourth game is in it, and the third game is in it, and the second game is in it, and it's like, okay, what are you doing? Like, if you're just going to copy the games, why didn't you just do the game? Like, it's that issue I have with, like, Tomb Raider as well. It's like you're just taking lots of shit and going, look, aren't we now Tomb Raider? And it's like, not really, because she doesn't, as Adam, I think, stated one time, she doesn't raid any tombs. You can't be Tomb Raider if you're not raiding tombs. And everywhere he's going is charted. Because every scene he's fucking been in is a fucking city.
This is bullshit.
That should be like the Brothers Take review. Just
everywhere
he's going is charted. 2 out of 5.
Fucking bullshit.
They have the temple from Tibet in the second game. There's a shot where you see one of the temples in Tibet in the game. They have the fucking plane sequence that they showed 3 or 4 times throughout the trailer. And then, like, you can see in the shot when he'd, like, fallen out of the plane, the tropical islands from the fourth game when you were going around in your boat. Like, so they're not really, like, kind of seem to be focusing. They're just kind of going, here's fan base. Aren't you excited? Because look what we're doing. It's like the Resident Evil thing. It's like, look at all the things we're referencing. It's like, that's grand, but your story doesn't feel strong because you're not focused on one thing. You just look like you're focusing on fan base. And then they're just not the characters. That's kind of my review of that.
Very interesting, Eric. Adam, how did you feel about the Uncharted?
Yeah, I mean, after watching the trailer, I was like, I have absolutely zero desire to go see this. I actually don't think I'm going to go see this film.
Oh.
Like, even, like, maybe out of a curiosity, but I actually, it's just, this doesn't look like Uncharted to me. And much like the Batman or Spider-Man, what makes Uncharted great is actually the characters. The gameplay and the action is good. Obviously, it's really, like, gets your adrenaline going, and it's really, really fun. But it's the character-to-character moment and what's next. That's what's pushing you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels so fucking weird to me that, like, the plane sequence, because that seems to be their biggest action piece in it, and I feel like that's probably going to be the biggest action piece. That looks awful. Looks like terrible. Like, the angle is awful. It's CGI'd. It doesn't feel visceral and real. But what's really fucking weird to me is that in the game feels great because you're actually doing it. But it's just a reference to action movies like The Living Daylights.
Yeah,
right?
It's to make you feel like you're playing an old school action movie.
When you watch The Living Daylights, that looks great. That looks awesome. And it's really, like, it gets you kind of pumped nearly when you're watching it. What makes Uncharted special is it now realizes how that would have made people feel, and it allows you to play it. Mm-hmm. Now they're doing a plane sequence that's referencing a game, that's referencing a movie. It's like, you are a movie. Do it like a movie. Don't do it like the game. Do it like how you would do it if you were filming a film. Right? This is the platform of film. It doesn't work like a video game does. So just making references and shit, that doesn't make something good. You gotta have the characters right, and you gotta have like a compelling story. Like, I think National Treasure is gonna be a way better Uncharted movie than this. Or even the Da Vinci Code. Like,
yeah.
You know? I just don't see, like, the mystery has got to be really, really compelling, and I think that's what they should have done with the trailer. It's not showcase the set pieces so much and not so much of the action, because that, to me, Uncharted's not really necessarily an action game. That's like it's an action adventure, but that's not what makes it great. That's not what makes it special. And yeah, I just don't think Tom Holland is Drake, and I don't think Mark Wahlberg is Victor Sullivan. I think they should have.
Which one offends you more?
I'm not offended. I'm just like,
well, I don't mean offended as in like you're going to fucking start a hate campaign or anything, but just which one bothers you more? Which one
disappointed? Which one?
Yeah, which one disappoints you more? Which one bothers you more?
Probably, because at least with Tom Holland, Nathan Drake, like, he's not Nathan Drake, but at least he's cosplaying right, because he's got the costume. He's got the Uncharted 3 cosplay outfit going on. It's like, that's nice. But Mark Wahlberg's Victor Sullivan doesn't look like one. I mean, apart from wearing the suit, it doesn't look like once he's actually wearing Victor Sullivan's outfit. And then he also doesn't have the mustache. And then at no point is he smoking a cigar or drinking a scotch or something. So it's kind of very much just like, that's not Victor Sullivan. That is just Mark Wahlberg in the movie.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg bothers me more than Tom Holland does, to be honest. Because I'm like, I'd never in a million years have picked Tom Holland to play Nathan Drake. Never, ever. Even if I was going for a younger Nathan Drake, there's other actors I would have picked over Tom Holland. And that's no disrespect. Tom Holland is actually a talented actor, but I would never have picked him to be Nathan Drake.
No.
But in no universe or multiverse or parallel reality would I have even considered Mark Wahlberg as a Victor Sullivan. That is the most ludicrous fucking casting I've ever heard of. It's fucking pure bullshit.
And this is not like the whole Daniel Craig becoming a Bond thing either, right? Because or Pattinson becoming the Batman. Because the thing is that yes, we probably, because I was like, Daniel Craig, like that guy from Tomb Raider.
I was as well.
Right? But we didn't see anything to that point. Once the trailer came out, I was convinced.
Sure.
And that's whereas with this trailer, this has completely justified my like points. Is just like, this is not right. This isn't correct.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be good. If this is good, I am fucking shocked. I don't think this is going to be good.
I think it's important to point out as well that we're not just like casual Uncharted fans. The Brothers Take is named The Brothers Take in reference to The Brothers Drake, which is a chapter from Uncharted 4. We fucking love Uncharted. We love these games so fucking much. So it's not just a case of like, oh, I'm a casual Uncharted fan. And, I don't like the trailer. Like, and maybe someone who has never played the games thinks this is an exciting trailer. And to be honest, I think if you haven't played the game, you might enjoy this movie because you're just taking it as its own movie. I'm not saying it's going to be a brilliant movie. I'm just saying that.
Well, what's really interesting is that, like, even like Uncharted is in many ways a rip-off of Indiana Jones, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's Indiana Jones, it's Tomb Raider, it's all those things. Yeah. This doesn't even look like an Indiana Jones movie.
No.
So if they were really wanting to tap into,
weird.
Like they should have tapped into the core of what Uncharted is, as opposed to just making set pieces.
Why do that when you could just copy MCU and you will get people to watch it? Except nothing outside of the MCU that has attempted to copy the MCU has ever actually worked.
No, you can't just stamp someone else's
formula
kind of vibe on your project if it doesn't fit.
I don't really get an MCU vibe off of this as much as I'm getting more of a Sony this is just Sony. You know what I mean? Like I think what you said about Venom is a lot more in tone with this, right?
Right, but
like,
I mean,
like with the Venom film, it's like, oh yeah, you look like Venom, but you're not Venom.
No,
This is not what Venom, like, I mean, maybe in the newer shit where he's like a kind of an anti-hero, maybe to some degree, but like if you're going to be doing the beginnings of Venom, that's not where you start. You don't start there. Like, maybe he's Venom for a while or something if you want to go down that road. But it's just, I'm getting more of a Fast and Furious vibe off of this, nearly, where it's just utter shite.
I think
good pop. It'd be good crack.
I don't even know if it'll be good crack. Actually,
I think like, to be honest,
I think this would just make me mad if I went to see it.
Yeah, like the CGI plane sequence, for example, you hit the nail on the head. I thought the same thing. I was like, why does that look so much fucking worse than the plane sequence in which it references from The Living Daylights, which is an 80s movie where they now look at I'm not wanting to endanger actors or stuntmen or anything like that, but for years they've been able to achieve these things and do it safely.
And Nolan did it. Nolan did it in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, he did.
Dark
like
Knight
you
Rises.
can do these real sequences. Just the CGI looks awful. Like it just looks terrible.
And the angle isn't correct either. Like the way
I think there was a focus on making sure that it's really Tom Holland doing it, because he's a very agile guy. He does try to do a lot of his own stunts, but there's no way you'd get him hanging out of a plane. And I think there was a focus on, let's make sure we've Tom Holland in shot rather than let's make sure the shot looks good.
I know, actually, now I know why it doesn't look real. Or it doesn't look great. It's because it's what you just said there about trying to get him in the shot. Like we can see it's Tom Holland holding onto the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a camera right here in his face.
Yeah.
So the reason that doesn't look real is because if you were actually filming that, you wouldn't get that angle, or you would actually be at a slight distance because you're actually in a helicopter filming it. And nowhere in this entire scene was that camera placed in a realistic situation where they would film it. And that's why it looks fake, because it is.
Because it is fake, and it doesn't look, they haven't achieved
camera placement is
looking real.
Really important to your audience. You know, wherever your camera is, your audience kind of knows or feels like they're in that place with them. And if it was shot on a fucking green screen, your audience is going to know it because that's the camera placement that was used. Like, it's really, really important to get those cameras right. And the underneath shot too. You know, back in the Bond days, that would have been a guy skydiving with a camera, and it feels real. Whereas there,
because it's
CGI. It's clearly CGI, because that's a shot that you can't get. That camera is way too stable. For this CGI version of Tom Holland is flipping around the place in the sky. It's just,
which that's another weird thing as well, because you can simulate flipping around in the air without having the CGI with the actor.
I don't think he's not CGI though, is he? Tom Holland. Tom Holland is real.
The bit, well, when he's hanging on to it, but the bit where it's like there's a shot and it's like you're looking up at the plane.
Yeah, and it's when
he's like doing like this ragdoll physics.
Oh, sure.
It looks awful. It's not
when
real.
he gives the "oh crap" line, right?
Yeah, it's not real.
It's when the car hits him.
And it doesn't even sound like Nathan Drake's "oh crap."
I know. But I wouldn't get to, like, I wasn't expecting Tom Holland to sound like Nathan Drake anyway, to be honest.
No, but he said "oh God" before that bit, right?
And that sounded better than
that sounded like the same "oh crap," and then he says the "oh crap" and it's not the same. It's just that was a bit weird, because it's almost like, out of all things, that's the one thing from the trailer you're probably like, is he going to say it?
Is he going to say "oh crap"? Yeah.
It's an iconic line. It sticks in the mind.
Yeah. I suppose in general, my impressions of the whole thing, and I think I've said this before, like, I feel this way about all video game movies, and I think until they change their approach to it, they're never going. Yeah, people always say video game movies suck, and I'm like, but they can be good, and they're like, yeah, but name me one that is, and it's like, it's the formula is wrong. And the reason the formula is wrong, in my opinion, is they're not treating the game that they're adapting as a book or as a piece of source material. What they're doing instead is they're treating the games as comic books. They're approaching it as the same way as you approach a comic book movie, which is, okay, we're not adapting a particular comic book, we're adapting a character from comic books.
Yeah.
So how do we, if we're only going to make one movie of let's say, right, we're making Iron Man, and we're not following a particular Iron Man comic run, we're making Iron Man, and Iron Man has been around for a long time. So let's adapt a lot of the things that have come up in the comics from different periods so that we kind of capture the overall experience of Iron Man.
Yeah.
And that's what they keep doing with video games. And it is totally the wrong fucking approach, because what they're doing is, and so for anyone who has never played Uncharted, and maybe you've watched this trailer and you're going, it looks pretty good. I've seen a couple of those clips from the trailers. It looks accurate. Let me explain to you why this is a problem. Imagine, go back to 2001. The first Harry Potter is coming out. Okay? So there's never been a Harry Potter movie before. They're adapting the Harry Potter books. So the first one is called Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, in which Harry Potter, raised by his uncle Hagrid, right, have to defeat the evil Sirius Black, who is searching for the Deathly Hallows, one of which is the Philosopher's Stone. How fucking mad would you be at all of that? And would you not go, why didn't they just follow the first book? It's a perfect story that's contained, and we learn all the characters. And just now, I'm not looking for scene the video game.
No, but just the heart of it.
Not at all. Yeah,
it's the Lord. It's the Lord of the Rings is what we're looking for, right? Because the Lord of the Rings movies to books, even the fans of the books say they're so different. They're very different. Even the characters are different, and they still love it.
Yeah, those goddamn ring rates.
Well, even Aragorn himself is very different.
Oh yeah.
Faramir is very different.
Yes,
completely different. But they realize when you watch the movie, it's like, but what the movie's trying to tell, the story that the movie's trying to tell, the heart of the movie, that character now works. And it's not like they're just making them up all together. They're actually just taking inspirations for the books to make them fit the film. And we're just not seeing that approach being done at all when it comes to video game movies.
Like,
I'm really hoping that Metal Gear Solid changes that.
That's why I'm worried about it. That's why I get worried when he shows artwork from other. And I know he's a huge fan, and I know that he's not a bad director. But that can be said for some of the other people.
Well, I don't know if I wouldn't imagine. I'd say the director for Uncharted is going to say that he's a fan of Uncharted, but to the same extent that, like, maybe, I don't know, our mom is a fan of Batman. You know what I mean? It's just like
casual.
Yeah, it's like you actually know the character, but that's as much as you know. Like, you don't actually know deep down his overall story and how he feels about things. Like, where's Elena in this, if she's going to be in it at all?
I was going to bring that up as well. Like, Elena is one of the most important characters in Uncharted. Like, why is she not? But then, because they're going, right, well, it's a prequel, right? But if it's a prequel, why does it include
Chloe Fraser?
Why does it include the events of different games? Why not just make Uncharted Drake's Fortune into a movie?
Yeah.
It is perfect movie material.
Or take Golden Abyss, right? You could actually take Golden Abyss, which is, there's fuck all that actually happens in that. So that way you have a lot of creative freedom to do something different. It touches on a game that not many people would have played, but allows you to establish, and that is a prequel to Uncharted Drake's Fortune. So you could do something really different with it.
Sure, but like I'm not even like looking for, like, say they did Uncharted 1. I wouldn't even mind if Gabriel, Roman, and Navarro weren't the villains. If some made-up villain was the villain. Because the villains don't fucking matter in Uncharted. They really don't. No, they don't, Eric. They don't.
I want to see Adam's reaction at the end of Uncharted 1 movie going, who the fuck was that guy? We're talking about it.
No, but what does matter is Nate, Sully, and Elena.
Yeah.
They matter a lot. And their chemistry matters, who's playing them matters, and then just the overall tone matters. And This is very like, I will say this is a fucking much better trailer than the new Resident Evil.
Well,
which is fucking disgraceful.
I haven't watched it
Which
yet.
we didn't talk about that, but
No,
that's another one where it's like, see all these things that are in the games, and you're like, that's not what I go to the movies for. Will you calm down and just take one of these games, and turn that into a movie, and it will fucking work.
Because the problem is that they are just relying on fan base, and when you're relying on fan base or relying on something like that, oh look, it's spectacular. Look how spectacular it is. It's very much then okay. You have no faith in your story because you don't feel to ever actually show it off or
quick money too.
Yeah, actually, yes. You know what, Adam? It's very Fast and Furious. Then I think about the fucking red Ferrari car hitting Drake and going at. It's Fast and Furious. You know what? He's going to go to space in the next one.
Yeah.
Well, that is a lot of that's Uncharted, so at least I'd have that right.
Like if it does well and they're going to do sequels, it's like, well, what are they going to do for the next one? Because they've already done the plane.
Oh no, it's perfect. You see, in the second one, because this is what they did with the Resident Evil franchise. This is what they keep doing with video game movies. It's fine. They've still left enough. In the second one, Elaine will come into it, and we'll use maybe you know what we didn't use? We didn't use the train sequence in the first one, so we'll use the train sequence in this one, and we could also use the boat sequence from the third one because we didn't do that yet. Okay, so now we've got those bits. And then when we get to a third one, right, we can open up with the boat sequence from the fourth one, right? But then we could have the plane crash sequence from the first one, but not the one in the third one. Right? So we're still referencing all the games instead of just doing them in order. Yeah. I don't know what their thinking is. I really don't. And I've heard it before. I've actually read a magazine before. I can't remember who said it. Someone was saying, video game movies will be the next comic book movies. That is so the wrong outlook. They are not comic books. That is the wrong
because with the comic books, it's like how many actual issues of Batman is there?
Right. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
10,
these guys are
strong at least.
These guys are mythological in their storytelling, and they change and they're different, and they're like, there's so much to draw from. There isn't that much to draw from these games, like, at all.
No, it's just I remember them saying that when they wanted to do a younger Nathan Drake, and they wanted to tell a story that wasn't in the games, an original story. The trailer absolutely does not show that they're telling an original story. It shows that they're telling a cocktail story.
Yeah. And
the cocktail is not going to go down well. So that's
shaken and stirred.
Yeah.
And poured all
That's
how
I feel. but maybe someone out there loved this trailer. So let us know if you love this trailer. If you really like the look of the Uncharted movie, if you love Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, if you are just happy to see sequences from the games being recreated, if that's enough for you, then let us know. Like, if that's what you're into, that's what you're into. But if you are like us and a bit disappointed by it, if not really disappointed by it, then also let us know where you're coming from and what would you have preferred to have seen for an Uncharted movie. If you're watching this on YouTube, let us know down in the comments down below. But if you're listening to audio platforms, do touch base with us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take. But I think moving on from Uncharted, another trailer dropped the same day, I think. No, the next day. Which gives a quick look at the GTA Remastered Trilogy, and I think kind of clears up what that meant.
Yeah.
What it actually meant.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Which is the improved textures, added weather conditions, different coloring, that kind of thing.
Modern gameplay,
right?
too.
Modern gameplay too. Yeah, they added a little press release, didn't they? There's going to be lock-on aiming and stuff like that. What did you think of the look of this one?
I didn't actually know a trailer dropped, so...
Oh, I shared it in our Brothers Drake group chat. See, we even have a group chat.
Did you?
You did?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh.
This looks good. This actually explains why they've decided to redo it, and the price is more and all this kind of stuff. The character models are different too.
They are.
And at first I was a bit like, this looks weird, but then I was thinking back on it because they're not the same on each one. I think 3 is a lot more cartoony the way the characters look. They look like the covers of the games.
They do.
And I just think that is so fucking clever. And I might actually pick this up now. I don't understand why they didn't just release that trailer in the first place.
I don't know, because it's not even that long, but it just gives you a sense of what to expect. And I think San Andreas looks great.
It's coming to iOS as well. Like, it's coming to...
Shut the front door.
I believe so. I saw Backbone had an advert for it, I think.
Shut the fuck up.
Or maybe...
Shut your fucking mouth.
Or maybe they're just...
more aggressively violent.
Because you know the way you can remote play, maybe they're just kind of
maybe
that way. But
man, if it comes to the fucking phone,
that would be great.
That'd be amazing.
It'd be way cheaper.
Yeah, holy shit. The
it seems to be like kind of coming to a bunch of shit, and
PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X, Series S, Xbox One, the whole lot. It's coming out November 11th.
Yeah,
which is a big day.
That is a big day.
For a few games. That's one of them. There's a lot of re-releases happening that day. It's GTA, the Remastered Trilogy.
Yeah.
It's Skyrim, the 10-year anniversary edition. Take a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And KOTOR is coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, yes.
On 11th? Oh.
On November 11th as well. Holy shit. For someone who wants to pick up...
few games, huh?
Well, for someone who's wanting to pick up a lot of re-releases on modern consoles, I do. San Andreas looks fantastic.
It's a little strange, I think, because some of it is like, this looks a little bit like the PC version where it's like sharper, and then in other parts you're like, wow, look at that rain. It's like it's really strange. It's like
oh my god, rain looks just like that.
It's half like remaster and half not. It's like a weird blend, but it looks good. Like
it actually does look good. Here's what I thought like when I saw the GTA 3 look, I was like, that kind of looks like a Telltale game. It kind of looks like a comic book. So you're right, it's very like right. Then Vice City looks so neon and cartoony, which very much fits in with like the flowery shirts and the Miami very colored vibe of it. And then San Andreas, arguably of the three of them, looks the closest to like the more modern day like GTA graphics.
5,
Now it
doesn't look anything.
If you
like
haven't
that,
seen it, it doesn't look like GTA 5, but it does look really impressive. And so to get all three of these bundled in that way, and to have modern gameplay mechanics, I'm like, this could be really fucking fun. Like, this could be really fun.
Yeah, because
but now it makes sense.
I wonder if following the damn train CJ will be easier with the new controls.
I think a lot of them, like, I never finished any of the previous GTAs.
Oh wow!
I always had a lot of fun with them, and I usually had more fun just messing around anyway.
Yeah.
But I always got to a point where I was like, oh fuck this! Like, I can't do this mission, and I've given up. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
If the modern controls make it much easier to play, and you can like set trails and stuff on your maps like you can in GTA 5 and everything. If they're putting GTA 5 essentially controls into what was the best era of GTA, man, this is a fucking solid release.
Yeah, looks. I don't know how I'm gonna have time to play anything. Do you know I haven't touched Life is Strange True Colors since last time we spoke about it.
Shit, I haven't picked it up.
Oh, you haven't picked it up? Or Kena.
Yeah, I haven't finished Kena, and that's not supposed to be long.
And I also picked up Metroid Dread, and I haven't even opened it from its fucking packaging. I have now. It's so weird. Like the earlier part of this year was like, there's no fucking games. Yeah.
And even like there was a couple of weeks where we were like let's be honest, we were like, what are we going to talk about?
Oh yeah.
We haven't played anything. We haven't watched anything. There's nothing.
Yeah.
And now it's like, Holy fuck! I've got a list of shit to get through. Like I need to finish Kana.
God damn it, life! Stop getting in the way. I gotta
Stop
play
being
some
so
games.
good right now. Yeah, I want to play. I want to pick up True Colors. I am interested in picking up this GTA trilogy now.
I think it's worth it.
It's a lot of games. I never even finished the Mass Effect Legendary edition because it's fucking 3 huge games.
Jesus, guys, like I finished the Legendary edition. I finished Kena.
Excuse me, you were out of work for a long time before you had to go back.
100%, you were out of work a long time before you had to go back.
Yeah, but that's also taking into account that during that time of me being out of work was also during the time when there was nothing coming out.
Well, that's true. But yeah, that's true. I don't know where your hours come from.
Look.
Right.
I make the time.
Oh, that's where we're going wrong, Adam. We need to.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, you need to make the time. Yeah, made the time.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You need to stop.
It's not that our timetable. It's like could be maybe possibly busier than yours. It's that I just don't know.
We're not making enough time.
Yeah. That's what it is.
But you know, I tell you what. Here's what I'm gonna do. Monday, I'm gonna put the dog in the kennels so I can play Kana. I'm making some time. I'm sorry, Pippin. I need to make time for the Sony.
We're after getting a kitten, so like it's like
straight.
It's just impossible to sit down to do fucking anything. And she always running in behind the consoles and chewing on the cables, and I'm just sweating. I'm just like, please don't break anything. Please don't break anything. Is it possible to get her out of there?
What's her name?
Nova.
You. Nova. Love it.
I keep calling her Novakin.
Novakin. Which is also Skyrim Legendary Edition is coming out.
The
anniversary.
The very special edition.
Yeah, I tried.
Is that what it's called? That's not what it's called.
No, it's not
super special edition. I tried to install it on Alexa.
Yeah.
It's not available in our country.
What the fuck? Why not?
Which is a pity because it has 5-star reviews the whole way down through it. It's called Skyrim Very Special Edition.
That's hilarious. It's
whole thing. It's one of those, those like text-based turn by turn.
Yes.
Only true voice. Yeah. Like that would be so fun.
It's so memeable, isn't it? The whole Skyrim thing. Which of, just out of curiosity, then, November 11th, those 3 games that are coming out, which one do you think is going to sell the most copies?
I think now GTA will. Sorry, what was the third one? GTA.
It's GTA, Skyrim, and KOTOR, and KOTOR's owning Nintendo
GTA.
Switch, so
I think it's GTA.
Probably.
Too many people are pissed off with Skyrim. I think, it's going to sell really well, but I think people are going to, and because you can get the free upgrade as well. That
sure,
it's. I don't know if the Creation Club is going to be enough, but GTA, there's so many younger generation hungry for more Grand Theft Auto, and now they have an opportunity to step back in time and modern controls.
It's got to be GTA, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's coming out I think that's coming out on Switch as well.
Oh yeah, it is.
I don't even know
where to get it.
I think I'd actually just buy the very, very special edition of Skyrim.
Would you?
Yeah.
I probably would too, because I'm a weirdo, and I have to have Skyrim on all the things.
I mean, I want to get a hard drive because I really fucking need another hard drive for PS5. So I'd probably get a hard drive and then get that.
I might hold off.
But if it's a PS5 version, it won't install on it. It won't install on it if it's a PS5 version.
Install?
Yeah. What do you want the hard drive for?
All the PS4 games.
Sure, he has a PS4.
Yes, yeah, but I'm running out of space. I just got 2 new games for the PS4. I had to delete shit. I'm running out of space on that too.
Jesus, what games did you get?
I got Phoenix Point because it got ported over onto the console, and I was like, I'll give that a go. They really need to update that. That's not. I don't know what the fuck they did. That's crashing all the time and really slow for something that's on a kit. Which is very weird. It's like, you really didn't optimize this at all. You kind of just got it and went, there you go. And that's it. And I was like, surely you would have slightly tweaked it a bit so that it would actually be optimized and work on the PS4. Because I don't think the PS4 is that weak, that it's that slow and crashes that much. No. And then I downloaded Pathfinder. I haven't tried it yet.
Oh, right. That one sounded interesting to me. The other one didn't.
Yeah.
The fuck is Phoenix Point?
It's made by the guys who originally created XCOM.
Right.
Okay. Though XCOM ran kind of shit on PS4 too, so
It did too, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know what the hell's wrong with them. That they're
Is it
not
their
able-
engine?
They're more PC.
I know
games.
they are more PC games. It's just I don't have a gaming PC, so it's like I should.
You can play them on your Mac. They're on the Mac.
Oh, the mystery continues. I think if I get the
App
Skyrim Anniversary Edition,
Or
I'm gonna
Steam, yeah.
have to hold off for a bit because I think I'd get the GTA trilogy first, and there's no way I'm getting the two of them at the same time. But
Oh yeah, no,
only
yeah.
because I don't have Vice City, never did, and I never played GTA 3, and I love San Andreas, whereas I have Skyrim more than once already.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, no,
I can get the free upgrade for a little while at least before I decide, fuck it, I get the rest of it. You know what I mean? So I think
just
for me,
hoping there's
even
an actual like special edition of Skyrim, because I really want like a
really nice box set that's it celebrates the 10 years, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like I've looked
Not
it
that
up
I'm
myself.
going to actually play it or anything. It's just like because I'm a weirdo and I just need to buy it on everything.
Yeah, it's like how many copies of Batman v Superman do you have now? You know, or it's like, or how many copies of Lord of the Rings do you want to own? It's like, yeah, all of them, please.
Well,
I'm not even going to watch them.
I only have 2 copies of BVS, but I have.
That's more than everyone else in the world,
Yeah.
Adam. That's
3 copies.
Most people in the world don't even have one copy.
Trilogy.
Yeah, I was going to say, Adam, you have 2 more copies
Than
of
everyone
BVS
else.
than like most people in the world.
Yeah.
So, but those people are
That is
wrong.
true. That is true.
Yeah, so that's cool. You should check out the trailer, Eric. It's really short. It's not. There's not much to it.
No,
other
I
than-
will. I just think
Looks decent.
I don't know. I was doing other stuff maybe when you sent it, and I just kind of forgot that you sent the link.
It's cool, man. It's cool, bro.
Okay,
Don't worry about it.
I'll give it a watch. I'll give it a try.
Don't worry about it, bro. Is there anything else that you guys have been watching or playing lately? That you wanted to talk about?
I haven't watched it, but I've been wanting to. Critical Role and Pathfinder, actually, by the way, because you did ask what that was. It's a top-down RPG game, kind of like Diablo, sort of.
Oh, I was thinking of something else. Oh, I don't know this one.
But Pathfinder is based on a famous tabletop RPG, kind of like D&D.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it's not converted to a video game. It's like, it's on sale. A lot of games on sale. It's like, sure, I'll give it a go. What else am I gonna do? But Critical Role, who do D&D, released their first episode for Campaign 3 Thursday night. Yes, Thursday night. I've been meaning to want to watch that because when they released it, it was well into the well after midnight for us when they released their first episode.
Right.
Did you get to watch? Because we were talking about it last week. Did you get to watch Shazam after?
I did.
Oh, from DC Fandom, you were talking about Shazam, weren't you? And then
God of Furies, and then
because you said you check it out.
Because it's on Netflix now, actually, isn't it?
It did. That's where I watched it. I watched it on Netflix.
Do you know I paid for that?
Yeah, you idiot. No. Actually, what do you think of it? A lot of people love Shazam.
A lot of people.
No, maybe because you guys were saying it's so bad, so much that I was like, all right, well, I'll watch this.
Chris was saying it was so bad. Did you? I mean, I think I was crapping on it more than you did. Right.
I was saying it's a pretty good Shazam movie.
I think it's a really good Shazam movie. I actually am like watching this going, this is a hell of a lot darker, more mature than I thought it was going to be.
Until
the end. The end is shite. Yeah. But
yeah.
It's but sure, that's the same as for me for like Black Widow. It's like the best part of Black Widow is actually the start, and then it gets worse as the film reaches the end. But it was still a really great, enjoyable movie. But I really like Shazam. I was like, they did Shazam well. They handled some of the stuff really well. They cursed so much in it. I was so surprised at all the cursing in it.
I think Adam hit the nail on the head, though, in the last episode.
Take a bow.
Yeah, no, I do. I think the actual issue with the movie, regardless of, like, people might love that ending because it's just fun. Like, people might just love the fun vibe of this movie. No one's expecting fucking, Freud from Shazam. No one's expecting that kind of deep fucking... Yeah, and we don't need that for everyone. Not every hero is actually as important. But I do think there is a genuine rift between the actor playing Billy Batson, who's fucking brilliant,
Mm-hmm.
and then Zachary Levi playing Shazam, who is nothing like his child counterpart, and is just, isn't this hilarious? I'm a big man child. And then there's the little kid who's like really mature, and like the best scene of Shazam, the whole movie, has to be, spoiler alert, when he finds his mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That was so good. Because I would see this in the cinema, and I was like, this is so good right now. This moment makes this film.
But
Zachary is so fucking annoying. He's
yeah,
great.
It's like,
he's
and
great,
you know what?
but he's annoying.
I'd love to see how many, because the praise I saw for the film is actually from a bunch of adult critics, right? They loved it because they didn't like the, DC films that came before it. Thought this is more what I'm expecting from a comic book movie, more fun and all this kind of shit. Sure. I wonder how many kids liked it. Would a kid relate to that guy, or is this just an adult's idea of what a kid should be like? And I think there's kind of like a bastardization of what it means to be a child and how to see the world.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit there. And
like, wouldn't you have preferred more of a, as opposed to him being like, haha, this is awesome? Wouldn't you have preferred a little bit more naivety out of him? Like, that he really thinks it's like, I can actually make the world a better place, but he keeps fucking up or something like that. Wouldn't you have preferred that?
There's a little, there's opportunities for humor there, but like a kid with that level of power, it's kind of scary actually, if you think about it. I think more fuck ups would have happened for sure.
I think it would have been nice to see him, like, he doesn't even think about saving people or fighting crime. His first thing is, I'm gonna go kick the shit out of the bullies in my school.
Yeah, I mean,
and then they're being real a little bit, but
yeah. There's a little bit of everything you guys are saying. He does fuck up. He does have responsibilities.
Yeah,
he does pick on his butt. He fucking, remember, he throws something and he makes a bush crash. He shoots lightning and he almost makes everyone on a bus die. Like, that's a huge fuck up.
I know, but also, you know what? Like,
Freddy does say that he is different when he's Shazam. So you're different when you're Shazam. Freddy does say that.
He does.
You do acknowledge that he is different.
Yeah, but it's different to... It's one thing to be like a different guy, and another to be you're acting different, right? As in, like, you're acting now like you're better than the rest of us.
Yeah, you're acting like a douche.
Yeah, like the way I was like if you think about kids, especially in that kind of position, like look, like what would Greta Thunberg be doing if she had that ability?
Wow,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, saving the world, man.
Kids are fucking angry with what adults are doing, and they think they can do it better. So if they had the opportunity, they would go to try to do that shit. Instead, it becomes a little bit like Superbad.
Well, he does the floss, doesn't he? And I go, man, you've just dated this movie.
You have dated this movie. This isn't going to...
Don't
10 years from now,
do not date your movie with a trend that's happening at that moment. Don't do it. It's just a bad idea.
It's quick money.
Yeah, but look, I enjoyed Shazam for what it was. It's not. It's the most Marvel. I have to stop saying that.
Yeah,
it's the most MCU DC movie, I think. The reason I had to stop myself is like, because Marvel, there was plenty of Marvel movies before there was an MCU, and it doesn't excellent. And they're fucking awesome, and it doesn't include all the MCU anyway. It's a particular, there's like some MCU movies that are kind of like this.
Homecoming,
but I mean,
is a bit like that, I think.
Winter Soldier is nothing like this.
No,
Winter Soldier is fucking awesome.
I watched when I was watching Shazam.
Sure.
Right, yes, it is more childish because we are dealing with children. But again, some of the themes and some of the things they were dealing with, because they were rebel kids, so get alcohol, going to a strip club. I thought it was very funny when he gets them all out of when they're trapped inside the place, and he gets them all out, and then your one is like, really, Billy? That's the first place you think of to get us out of there? Like, and he's like, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? And Freddy got like kicked out or something. But I thought it was brilliant as well to put when Billy was, I think it was Shazam at the time, and he was like, you just want these powers for yourself. And he's like, no shit. Yeah. No fucking shit. Of course I want these powers.
Yeah.
I was like, though I actually think that while the character may be annoying, he actually fits into the DCEU more than kind of sometimes Aquaman, the new Aquaman and Wonder Woman stuff. I actually think he would have kind of worked well with them.
Cool.
Wow.
Cool. Interesting. Because I was like,
no, I'm glad I didn't go to the cinema to see it. I probably would have hated it then.
That's true. I think as well, there is a thing of like, if you're expecting it, when you're expecting a movie to be so bright, so happy. This is why in animated movies, if there's ever even a small dark moment, it comes off as even darker, and you're like, whoa, this is really dark, man.
That's true.
Because you weren't expecting it at all, so it takes by surprise. As opposed to if you go into what is already a dark movie.
Yeah, if you watch HBO.
Yeah, you're like, some of it even goes over your head because you're just like, yeah, I get it. Life sucks. Yeah,
look, titties on the screen.
But I actually do think, like, you know, like everyone, like even Feige looks at the original Superman as like the pinnacle of and I think Shazam to some degree is probably fitting into that territory a little bit. Yeah, I think it's Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. I think that's the pinnacle of a comic book movie. It's a little bit like the original Superman, but it's like, because that has dark moments too. Spider-Man goes to a point, he nearly kills the guy, and he actually kind of does, or no, he lets him go, and that ends up, you know, being the death of his uncle. Like, that's dark, but there's a huge turning point there. And with Shazam, I just didn't see that turning point at any point. Like, his silliness, when that kid said, "Of course I would like that power," that should have been a huge turning point for him. It didn't really. It still became silly. Even when he's fighting the villain at the end, that should have been a moment for him to kind of get, like, okay, I need to not grow up, but at least take this a little bit more seriously rather than just cracking jokes mid-fight.
Well, I'm glad Eric enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, you fucking weirdo.
No, because I enjoyed it as well. I know, Adam, you rate it as probably the worst of the DCEU movies.
It's my well, I haven't seen the new Wonder Woman yet, so
no, I know that
it's my second
of the ones you've
least
seen
favorite.
Whereas I prefer it to some of the other, like I prefer it to Birds of Prey, for example. I think Birds of Prey is a worse movie as a whole because I just think it doesn't. It has more. I think it has more issues than Shazam, and also the Shazam movie. If you're a Shazam fan, you'll get what you want. The Birds of Prey movie, if you're a Birds of Prey fan, you will absolutely not get what you want. Yeah. So
one thing I don't understand about Shazam, and this is from the comics as well.
Sure.
Because the first thing, obviously, when the wizard says, "Say my name, Shazam," and you know, he starts listing what Shazam means, and he's like, the first one is the wisdom of Solomon.
Oh, I brought this up before.
Yeah, is Solomon a dipshit?
Yeah, I brought this up before. I think we were talking about Shazam a while back, and it's when I first watched it, and that was something that I brought up, where it's like, you know, he's supposed to be wise. Yeah, he's acting like a fucking...
He's not. He's not wise
at all. And I think that to me is the problem with the film, is that it is this guy acting like a kid. Yes. Or at least what he thinks a kid should act like, rather than what does that kid act like if he got all this ability.
Yeah. But unfortunately as well, I do feel that kind of stems from an issue in the actual comics itself, because they're having Shazam, the older person, still act like a child. Now, Billy Batson in the comics is a little bit more upbeat than the Billy Batson in the movie. But, like, I think he just kind of drowns his problems and tries to make the world a better place by being happy himself in the comics. But, like, the problem then is the comics is that they're still having this person who's supposed to have the wisdom of Solomon be childish, and it makes no sense.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I think the issues, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. I think Shazam is a good Shazam movie. The issues with Shazam's character are not, it's not at the root of this movie. They actually root in the comics.
Okay.
So the character in the movie is being represented quite well based on the source material. It's the source material that I think is just, you know.
Yeah, the only bits of Shazam I would have seen would have been a little bit in possibly a Justice League cartoon when he gets
right, and Injustice the game as well.
And Injustice the game, and it's a little bit more like he can go toe to toe to Superman a little bit.
Yeah, and he can. That's the thing. He physically can. Yeah,
physically, but even in other aspects as well.
Sure.
That's the Shazam I know, which is probably very limited, not comic accurate at all.
But cool, Adam. What have you been watching or playing lately?
I have been. Well, I haven't got a chance to play anything just because it's impossible to do that when you have a kitten.
But
I have been watching the Bond collection.
Nice.
And we're up to... I've just finished...
Is Pagan watching with you?
Oh, yeah, she is, yeah, because she's never seen them, so...
Is she enjoying them?
Kind of.
Right.
She didn't quite like... So we got up... The last one we watched was Thunderball.
Right? Yeah. Right.
And it's fun. It's weird actually watching them back now. You know, I've obviously seen them all before, but it's been a while since I've seen some of the old ones. And Dr. No, I thought was a lot better than my memory of it. She didn't like it, but it was.
It's weird. It's got weird choices and stuff.
You know.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard. Then From Russia with Love, both of us loved it. It's a great movie.
Excellent.
That's a fantastic movie. And then Goldfinger. I actually think Goldfinger is not as good as From Russia with Love.
That's what I said.
It's fine.
From Russia with Love is the best Sean Connery Bond movie.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. It's got all the little kind of things that carry through, and it's like that's the definitive kind of formula for a Bond movie. But ultimately, but actually, you know what? The plot is good. I think what Goldfinger's trying to do
is really good.
Is actually really good.
Yeah.
It's a big Casino Royale in that regard. The whole kind of stock market kind of thing. That's really well done. But Bond is not like good in it. He kind of feels like Batman in The Dark Knight. He's kind of sidelined. This is all about the villain. And then we watched Thunderball. That is really shit.
Yeah, Thunderball's not great.
No. Again, it's kind of a good plot, but this is a huge turning point for Sean Connery. His Bond, all of a sudden, this is where he becomes a shit person. In his mistreatment of women, because it actually wasn't there in Dr. No or From Russia with Love. It begins in
Goldfinger and it becomes really apparent in Thunderball.
It's awful in Thunderball. And Thunderball, I think altogether is just a really bad movie. And
wait till you rewatch You Only Live Twice.
Well,
oh man, it's so problematic.
You Only Live Twice. I can't wait to watch that one because that, to me, my memory of that is my favorite Sean Connery. So I'm looking forward to watching that one.
I think that will change.
But dude, he turns Japanese. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, I know. It's so problematic.
I can't wait to get to that bit. But yeah, it's just fun watching it and then looking at like how they shot things but like From Russia with Love, that's really well shot. I don't see how anyone could say, because obviously I watched Majesty's Secret Service before getting this collection, so I'm not going to watch that one again because I've already seen it recently enough. From Russia with Love is the superior movie. I don't see how anyone can rate Majesty's so fucking high against From Russia with Love.
Man, I've been saying for years, From Russia with Love is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
And probably...
I do think the gypsy sequence is crap.
Yeah, no, it is.
You remove that, it's a solid film.
And probably, I mean, this might be controversial for people, but probably the best version of Blofeld. Even though we don't really see, and that is the best version of Blofeld, when you don't see him, when it's just a hand stroking the cat and the sinister voice and the plotting from behind the shadows.
And what's her name? Kleb?
She's brilliant.
Her reaction, like her fear of this
guy.
Her
fear of Blofeld.
Yeah.
Just her face, and you can't see him, but you can see her. She's terrified of him, but she herself is a scary woman. So it's like,
we couldn't help but laugh while we were watching them, though, because we just couldn't not think of Austin Powers.
I know. You see her and you're like,
come on, number 2 or number 3. It's like,
it's so
funny.
Totally. That's fucking awesome.
So I have way more to get through. And I just, you know what? I actually cannot wait to get to Brosnan, because I think her memory of those would be the ones that she would have seen. I don't know if she's seen much of the others.
Right.
And her memory of Brosnan is just like not good.
Well, I can't wait for her to get to Timothy Dalton, actually.
Well, Dalton, yeah, because that one's, I mean,
the two of them are solid. They're both really good outings.
Excellent Bond.
Yeah, they're really good. I binged watched Squid Game.
Oh, yeah.
And I binged watched Midnight Mass.
Oh, okay. One of those things I can talk about.
Yeah. No, look, I'm not going to get too much into them. Just touch on them very briefly.
Right.
Of the two, which, a lot of people were talking about them. They were everyone's like, oh, you got to check these out. These are like the must-watch Netflix shows at the moment. I could say Squid Game is the far superior show.
Yep.
Squid Game is fucking awesome, and that's not just like I was hesitant about jumping on the train, and a little bit as well. Like it's like I've kind of seen this story before,
right?
But it's told so well. The acting is fucking incredible. Do watch it subbed. Don't watch it dubbed.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I have to find an opportunity. It's going to be really difficult for me to read a screen while I'm trying to have one eye on a cat.
Yeah, of course.
So I have to find an opportunity to sit down and actually watch through it.
But it's really excellent, and there's a few episodes where the tension is so high over something so small that you're like, this is just so gripping, and it's so well paced, and it keeps moving between people, and you're like, how are they going to get out of this one? Kind of, you often have those thoughts. So it's really gripping, like television, really, right? There is a moment where it falls down a bit, and you're like, that sucks. But overall, it's great. Midnight Mass, really well made, pretty good. So fucking long.
Isn't it?
Needlessly long. Midnight Mass is like Mass itself. The concepts are awesome. The delivery is so boring. It's so dragged out. You're like,
I think I've spoken to you before.
Get to the point. Please get to the point.
Am I right that there's like Metal Gear Solid dialogue moments?
Holy shit, yes, there is.
Yes.
Holy shit,
no,
yes,
I've seen a scene where it was the sheriff.
Yeah,
that was probably the worst one.
The woman, like I said,
it tells his story, and it's brilliant. But at the same time, you're like,
show it, don't tell it.
This should have been like hinted throughout or something. Like,
I know. It's just weird that he's like, so like, do you want to know why I don't want to? Do what you're requesting.
Yeah, let me take you back to when I was born.
It all started when I was
the Big Bang.
Yeah, when I was a glint in my mother's eye. No, it's really cool, but when it took too long to get real good. That's sort of how I felt about it.
Sure.
And also, I don't think the episodes did not need to be as long. They needed to really trim the script down and get those episodes to just like 40 minutes each.
It's I think it's overly praised.
Yeah, it's not as good as people are saying.
No, not at all.
Whereas Squid Game actually is deserving of the praise, I would say.
I think that's the big costumes out that everyone's getting is those.
Well, I think for Halloween, 100%, there's going to be a lot of Squid Game people around. But I mean, it's a very simple costume. It's a jumpsuit and a mask.
It's a really simple costume to do. It's cost effective. That's good.
Yeah.
Great way to stay in shape.
Yeah. Great way to stay in shape. But now we'd love to hear from you guys. What have you been watching? What have you been playing? Have you seen the stuff that we're talking about? What's your favorite Bond movie? Have you watched Squid Game, Midnight Mass? What did you think? And what did you think of Shazam? As well as everything else that we brought up throughout this episode. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please do jump down in the comments, share your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this episode, please do give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and click that notification bell so that you can hear from us in future episodes. If you're listening to us on audio platforms, please touch base with us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take. It took the whole episode for me to learn how to speak again, but I finally got there. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. We'll be back to talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.